Chaos. Okay, so I finished tracking all of my physical manga volumes. I have... So I'm hoping that maybe this series will be the one that does it for me. I cried so much. Hi, I'm Manga Captor and welcome to another video. This will be a productive vlog, but before we get into that, Happy New Year. I hope that this year you get to accomplish the goals that you set out for yourself and just enjoy your time in 2024. So in this video, I am going to get organized. I'm going to be productive. I have not updated my manga tracker spreadsheet in quite a while, so I need to go ahead and do that. I'm also going to make sure that my list of books I want to read someday is up to date. I'm going to go through some of the titles that I'm excited about for 2024. I'm also going to be starting a reading journal to track my reading. I have been tracking my reading just on my notes app, which is not very good. So I have quite a bit of stuff to do, so let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so here are my shelves with everything that I've read. So I just need to make sure that these are accounted for on my manga tracker. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'll update you guys later. Come here. Okay, let's see. Cat Gamer. Oh, chaos. It is chaos. She's knocking over everything. Get out. Okay, so I finished tracking all of my physical manga volumes. So I have 179 physical volumes. That's not counting like novels or digital manga. I just don't count that stuff. I'm mostly concerned about the manga because it's easy to lose track of how much you have or which volumes you have. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised. 179. That's more than I thought. So now let's move on to the next task. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up because it's gotten a little bit disorganized. I want this TBR cart to look welcoming, clean, organized. I think I like the headphones there. I just don't like all of these cables. They've kind of just been placed here because I don't know what else to do with them. I have random tripod bits. That shouldn't go there either. I don't know what to do with a lot of these things, which is why they've probably been sitting here for so long. This is like my bookmark jar, but as you can see, it doesn't really work. Everything falls out. So I need to come up with a better solution for this too. Okay, so I put the tiny bookmarks in this little container since that seems to work. And I don't have bookends, so I'm just gonna use this as a bookend to hold up those books like I've been doing, but now they have tiny bookmarks inside that I can access if I need to. I just need to come up with a solution for these bigger bookmarks because this is meant to hold like dish cleaning utensils, so that's why this doesn't work. So I need to find a solution. Okay, don't laugh at me, but this is my solution. I took a container of instant coffee and I got this like pouch for Christmas that had some goodies inside, and I'm just gonna reuse it to hold my bookmarks. I mean, I think it doesn't look bad, right? I don't know, I like to be resourceful, even if it's not 100% aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so I put all the bookmarks inside and I have these little Pikmin bookmarks that are sticking out that look really cute, and it's just there. What do you guys think? Does it look kind of weird? I don't know, I just like to try to go for practical, and this feels practical. You could just like get a book, get a bookmark, and be on your way. Okay, so quick update. I used to have the TBR cart right there where that lamp is now, and instead I decided to move it here. So here's how the TBR cart looks after I tidied it up a bit. So on the top we have manga and one light novel, as well as a guidebook. On the middle shelf, we have some nonfiction and fiction mixed up there. The magazines, mostly recipe magazines. And down here we have all of my Japanese manga. My headphones here because I like listening to music while I read. And there's my little bookmark pouch hanging off of that instant coffee container. So that's what it's looking like. I put that beanbag there. I will have to move it every time I open this door, so that might not be its final place, but here is the door where all my manga is. And this is where I just set up a chair and film. And yeah, this is like just a little look at my reading room. I'm going to be adding a bookshelf here in this corner, but that's gonna be in another video because I haven't got the bookshelf yet, but stay tuned for that. Okay, so now that I've tidied up that room, I went ahead and double checked my spreadsheet because I love to just triple, quadruple check everything. And I made a mistake, so I said I have 179 volumes of manga physically, but I actually only have 177. Only. LOL. That's still a lot. So I only miscounted by 2. And now that that's sorted out, I want to go through my list of reads that I'm looking forward to in 2024. Okay, so I just finished updating my reading list. Alright, and I'm gonna cut myself off there because I just wasn't very clear, I was low energy, I was just not 100%, and I feel like the clips weren't all that usable, so I'm recording it again. If I'm being 100% honest, I am really not enjoying this weather. It's been gray for several days, the sun has not been out. I feel like I often get like this in the winter time, where I just feel kind of slow, sluggish, but I'm trying to hype myself up by going through the things I want to read in 2024 and getting excited about that. And hopefully by doing that, I can get in a better mood. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. First up is Shoko's Smile. This is a best-selling and award-winning debut collection from one of South Korea's most prominent young writers. This book is a collection of short stories that follow different women in South Korea. And just by looking at the synopsis here, it seems like we follow these characters as they go through grief and go through difficult moments in their life, so it seems like it's going to be a bit of a heavy read. Next on the list, we have The Miracles of the Namiya General Store. This is a Japanese novel. This follows 3 delinquents who hole up in an abandoned general store, and they inadvertently become advice purveyors after seeking shelter in that abandoned store. I've heard a lot of great things about this book. Lots of people seem to really enjoy it, so I want to check it out. Next up, we have The Kamogawa Food Detectives. It follows a father-daughter duo who have the ability to cook these magical dishes from a person's treasured memories. These dishes may well hold the keys to their forgotten past and future happiness. That's just a slice from the synopsis, and I'm already hooked. I don't need to know more. I love manga and books that revolve around food. It just sounds like it would be a great time. And next up, we have some titles from R.F. Kuang. I haven't read anything from this author, and I really want to check out her work. So I have the Poppy War series and Babel, so I'm looking forward to checking those out. Next up, we have a Danmei series. This is a 2-book series called Little Mushroom, and I don't know too much about this other than it is a Danmei. It's got sci-fi elements, and there's also like an apocalyptic world setting. So it seems to have like a more serious tone rather than maybe a fluffy, lighthearted tone. I just really want to get into more Danmei, so I added this one to the list. And another series in the Danmei genre is The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. This is written by the same author that gave us Heaven Official's Blessing, so I'm looking forward to checking out her other work. Next up, I have another Japanese novel, Sweet Bean Paste. This follows the life of someone who was previously incarcerated and now works in a confectionery shop. So I'm already on board just based off of the food element, but also seeing that it's about friendship and societal pressures and dark secrets that people have and the consequences of those dark secrets. It just seems like a book that I would really enjoy, so I'm going to be reading that one. And next up on this list, I have Anime Supremacy, which follows multiple women that work in the anime industry. That's all I know about the book, but it's enough to interest me. And another book by the same author is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I've already started that one. I am a little bit less than halfway through, and that story follows a group of children who don't go to school for various reasons, and their mirrors turn into portals that take them into this mysterious magical castle that has a secret key hidden somewhere, and if they were to find it, they could have a wish granted. And moving on to the next book on my list, this is a manga. This is One Piece Shokugeki no Sanji. This is already released in Japan, and we're going to get an English translation here in the US. This is a spin-off series made by the same mangaka that did Food Wars, so not much more needs to be said. I'm very interested in this title. Moving on, we have The Other World's books depend on the Bean Counter, the light novel series. So the manga is already out in the US, but now we're going to get the light novels, and we're going to get the first one in February, and I'm very excited. I haven't read the manga series yet, and at this point I'm just going to wait for the light novel releases. I realized that I'd rather enjoy that story through novels rather than manga, so very excited about that one. Next up we have a manga, Daisy Jealousy. I don't know much about this other than it's a BL and the two main characters are game developers. That's all I really need to know to be intrigued. So next up we have a very intriguing title, Just Like Mona Lisa. Okay, pause. I did some searching and realized that this series has already been published digitally under the title The Gender of Mona Lisa. I'm not sure why the physical English release has a new name, but all the questions I dive into can be easily answered by reading the digital chapters, but I'd rather wait for the physical release of Just Like Mona Lisa. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to get that cleared up. So back to the video. This is a manga series that's about gender, and in this world people are born without gender. Now, I'm not really sure how the author is going to portray a genderless world, and I'm very interested because oftentimes sex and gender get confused or conflated, and already in the summary it seems like gender is being misused. It's probably more accurate to say that in this world people are born without sex traits that are identifiable as male or female, basically. So what happens instead is that when they're 12, their body changes to align with the gender they identify as, which is also interesting. I wonder if we're going to get characters that are strictly on the binary, like for example, a character identifying as a man and therefore their body developing to have male characteristics and so on, or if we're going to have more diversity, if we're going to have more of a sliding scale when it comes to gender and sex and how people identify. So I feel like this has the opportunity to be very good, very insightful, very educational. I myself am non-binary, so I'm very excited about this book because our protagonist seems to be non-binary. So in this world where everybody's body changes eventually when they turn 12, our protagonist, their body and their gender is still not identified. It hasn't changed from the way they were born. And it seems like we're going to follow this character as they gain self-knowledge about their gender identity and how they navigate that, how the world responds, and how their social circle responds. So very interested. At the same time, very wary of it as a non-binary person. I haven't been able to find a manga series that really shows the non-binary experience and just how diverse it is. So I'm hoping that maybe this series will be the one that does it for me. Moving on to a title that is much simpler, Mobsters in Love. This is a BL series about mobsters in love. And from the summary, it seems to be a wholesome story between these two like cool mobster dudes. So I'm on board. And that concludes my current list of things I want to read in 2024. This is not an absolute list. This is just how it's looking right now. I'm sure I will add more later on, but for now, I'm pretty happy with this list. Let me know in the comment section what's a title that you're really looking forward to reading in 2024. It could be a new release. It could be something that's already been out for 5-10 years. It doesn't matter. I would love to know. All right, well, I'm going to be working on my reading journal pretty soon in a few days once I finish reading up some titles, and I'll show you what that is looking like. So I'll see you in the next clip. It's been a few days and I just finished reading my first book of January 2024, so I'm journaling it here, and that was Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This book made me so emotional. I cried so much. It was such a cathartic experience. So as you can see, I'm keeping the journaling really simple, writing down the author, the title, page count, and my rating, and this book was 5 stars. I really want to keep this journal simple so it doesn't feel daunting to write in it. And of course, I totally forgot that I wanted to write down my 2024 reading goals on the first page, so instead I grabbed a small piece of paper and wrote down my goals there. My main goal is to be more focused. Focus on what is currently on my TBR and not add too much. I feel that sometimes I add so much to my reading list and I just get overwhelmed. I also want to read more from the library and other library services to reduce the amount I spend on books and manga. I also want to read more content digitally because this doesn't take up physical space. I do have space on my shelves to grow, but I want to take it nice and slow and use my Kindle Kindle, which I have and absolutely love. And maybe my most important goal is to just have fun. Don't feel the need to rush reading to get an impressive thumbnail where I say, I've read 100 things this month. I just want to focus on what I'm interested in reading, take my time with it. Don't feel any pressure to set a huge goal for myself. Honestly, my goal for this year is just read one book. I already did it, and now every other book I read is just out of pure enjoyment, not needing to meet a goal. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in to my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.